At 6 a.m. in a residential neighborhood of Kichijoji, Tokyo, light filters through cream-colored paper screens into a 28-square-meter apartment. The room appears almost completely bare. There is no bed frame, no sofa, no entertainment center crowding the perimeter. A young graphic designer named Kenji rises from his floor futon. He stands, folds the thick cotton mattress into 3 precise accordions, and lifts it into a sliding wall closet known as an oshire. Within 40 seconds, the room transforms completely. What was a bedroom moments ago is now an open, pristine studio filled with morning light. Kenji reaches into a low cabinet and pulls out a small wooden tray, an ozen. On it, he places a single ceramic cup of green tea, a bowl of rice, and a small piece of salted salmon. He sits cross-legged on the tatami mat. There are no loose wires on the floor, no unopened mail stacked on counters, no excess chairs waiting for guests who aren't there. His movements are unhurried and fluid. He does not look like a man enduring severe sacrifice or living in poverty. He looks immensely rich, rich in physical space, rich in visual calm, and rich in time. A few miles away in a bustling department store in Shibuya, shoppers navigate aisles packed with thousands of hyper-specialized kitchen gadgets, organizational plastic bins, and decorative ornaments. Yet in millions of Japanese homes, tucked behind these vibrant commercial avenues, a quiet counter-philosophy governs daily existence. It is an unseen architecture of living where comfort is not measured by how much you can accumulate and fit inside 4 walls, but by how effortlessly your life moves through the space you have. When we look at tiny living spaces or reduced possessions, our modern instinct is to imagine constraint, austerity, or rigid self-denial. We view minimalism as a grueling exercise in willpower, a constant battle to throw things away, resist buying new items, and live with as little as humanly possible. But what if we have misunderstood the entire concept of living with less? What if true comfort does not come from owning an endless array of specialized tools and plush furniture, but from designing a physical environment that requires almost no effort to maintain? This is not a lesson in Japanese culture or an aesthetic trend for social media. It is an exploration of a practical, hidden life system, a framework of behavioral architecture that eliminates physical clutter, restores mental clarity, and allows you to live with deep, effortless comfort, regardless of the size of your home. This is not about observing someone else's world. It is about a system you can use to liberate your own space. Modern consumer culture operates on a fundamental illusion that comfort is directly proportional to abundance. We are taught that to make a home cozy, we must fill every corner with furniture. To make life convenient, we must buy a specialized tool for every microtask. To feel secure, we must store endless backups of things we might need someday. But psychology shows that every physical item you bring into your life carries a hidden tax. It demands your attention, requires cleaning and organizing, takes up visual volume, and costs mental energy every time you glance at it. When your home is overcrowded, your brain is forced into a state of continuous, low-level cognitive processing. The traditional Japanese approach to living comfortably with less completely flips this dynamic. Comfort is not created by adding physical layers of padding to your life. It is created by removing physical friction so your mind can rest. True luxury is not the density of your possessions, but the freedom of your space. Spatial shape-shifting. A quiet residential townhouse in Kyoto, measuring less than 400 square feet, comfortably hosts a family of 3, an afternoon tea gathering, and a quiet evening workspace without ever feeling cramped. Watch the main room as the hours unfold. At 8 a.m., a low wooden table sits in the center of the tatami floor where the family shares breakfast. By 1 p.m., the table is slid smoothly against the wall, a floor cushion is placed in the center, and the mother sits down with a laptop to work in an open, airy room. By 9 p.m., the work materials are tucked into a low drawer, thick cotton futons are rolled out across the floor, and the room becomes a tranquil bedroom. The walls have not moved, yet the space has expanded and contracted 3 times in a single day. This is spatial shapeshifting, the deliberate practice of using flexible, multifunctional elements so that a single physical area can fulfill multiple life functions without needing permanent, single-use furniture. In densely populated urban environments, allocating permanent floor space to an object that is only used for a fraction of the day, like a large bed frame or a formal dining table, creates severe spatial inefficiency and visual congestion. Static environments create static habits. When a room is locked into a single fixed identity, it collects static clutter around its edges. Dynamic spaces require items to be stowed after use, which inherently prevents long-term accumulation on surfaces. In modern homes, rooms are often filled with bulky, single-use items. Guest beds that sit empty 300 days a year, massive desks that collect paper, and large coffee tables that serve only as footrests and catch-alls for clutter. Evaluate your living space for single-purpose objects that consume permanent floor area. Transition toward adaptable elements, tables that collapse, seating that stacks or tucks away, and sleeping setups or light furniture that can be stowed. Design your rooms so they can shift modes as your day evolves. Space is not defined by the furniture that stays in it, but by the human activities that can flow through it. The principle of yohaku. Inside an old pottery workshop in Mashiko, a master ceramicist places a freshly glazed ceramic plate onto a wooden tray. The rim is curved gently, and the center is entirely blank, painted in a soft, muted off-white. He points to the empty surface of the plate. He explains that he did not leave the center bare because he ran out of paint or time. He left it bare so that when a single piece of seasonal food is placed upon it, the dish feels complete. If the plate were covered in intricate, dense patterns from edge to edge, the food would compete with the design, creating visual noise and chaos. This principle is known as yohaku no bi, the beauty of negative space, or the intentional preservation of empty margins in our physical surroundings, daily schedules, and home design. Cultural aesthetics in Japan have long recognized that an object or a room derives its true functional value from the empty space surrounding it. An overfilled shelf ceases to highlight anything. An overfilled room ceases to offer rest. The human visual cortex is constantly scanning environments for boundaries and patterns. When every surface is populated with objects, the brain undergoes persistent visual stimulation, triggering subtle elevated cortisol levels and cognitive fatigue without our conscious awareness. We tend to view empty space on a wall, a kitchen counter, or a bookshelf as a problem that needs fixing, a void that must be filled with a vase, a frame, or a decorative tray. Apply the 80% rule to every storage container, shelf, and surface in your home. Intentionally leave 20% of every drawer, closet, and wall completely empty. Treat that open space not as missing decoration, but as a deliberate visual buffer for your eyes. Empty space is not a vacuum waiting to be filled. It is the physical breathing room your mind requires. Danshari and emotional detachment. A middle-aged man stands in his home in suburban Osaka, holding a heavy wool coat he has not worn in 4 years. He does not ask himself the traditional question, "Might I need this again someday?" Instead, he looks at the coat, acknowledges that it served him well during 3 cold winters past, and whispers a quiet thank you to the garment before placing it neatly into a donation box. There is no lingering guilt, no internal debate about how much money he spent on it, and no anxiety about hypothetical future scenarios. The item has fulfilled its purpose in his life, and now it is permitted to leave. This is the mental shift of Danshari, a framework where Dan means to refuse incoming clutter, Sha means to dispose of existing burden, and Ri means to detach emotionally from physical possessions. Rooted in the understanding of impermanence, this perspective views objects not as permanent personal property to be hoarded forever, but as temporary items passing through our lives for specific chapters. The endowment effect is a psychological bias where human beings assign irrationally high value to objects simply because they own them. We confuse the physical object with the memories, identity, or money attached to it, making discarding items feel like losing a piece of ourselves. Our homes become stagnant storage units for past identities and anxiety-driven future projections. We keep clothes that no longer fit, books we will never reread, and specialized gear for hobbies we abandoned years ago. Reframe your relationship with your possessions, from ownership to temporary stewardship. Recognize when an item's role in your life has concluded. Release it without guilt so it can be useful to someone else, rather than letting it decay in a dark closet. You do not destroy a memory or an experience when you let go of the physical object that accompanied it. Tactile satisfaction. On a simple desk in a home office in Kanda, there are only 3 items: a notebook made of thick, fountain pen-friendly paper, a single brass pen that has taken on a dark patina over a decade of use, and a solid cast-iron tea mug. Watch the writer pick up the mug. He does not just use it to hold tea. His fingers appreciate the cool, rough texture of the iron, the weighted balance of the handle, and the way it retains heat for hours. Because every single object on his desk offers a deeply satisfying physical experience, he feels no urge to collect dozens of novel trinkets, souvenir mugs, or cheap stationery items to feel comfortable or inspired. This relies on the appreciation of high tactile value and understated utility, the understanding that possessing a few exceptional, enduring items satisfies human sensory needs far more deeply than owning a high volume of mediocre things. When items are manufactured with exceptional care, natural materials, and structural integrity, they age gracefully through wear, becoming more meaningful over time rather than turning into cheap plastic waste. Sensory deprivation in modern, mass-produced environments drives compulsive buying. When our daily surroundings are filled with flimsy, sterile materials, our brains seek sensory novelties, driving a constant cycle of purchasing cheap decorative items that offer short-lived satisfaction. We often replace quality with quantity, acquiring dozens of cheap mugs, pens, throw blankets, and kitchen utensils that offer zero sensory pleasure, cluttering our cabinets while leaving us unsatisfied. Elevate your standard for what crosses your threshold, while drastically lowering the quantity. Choose fewer items, but select those crafted from natural, durable materials that feel exceptional to hold and use every day. Care for them so they last for decades. True luxury is not having many things to choose from. It is the quiet joy of interacting with a few things made remarkably well. The Reset Protocol. At 5 p.m. every evening in a small woodworking studio in Hida, Takayama, the craftsman stops his creative work entirely, even if a project is midway through assembly. He picks up a hand-bound straw broom and begins sweeping wood shavings off his workbench. He wipes down his chisels, rubs a thin layer of oil onto the steel blades, and returns every single tool to its specific carved wooden peg on the wall. He cleans the floor until not a single speck of sawdust remains. When he turns off the light and steps out, the workshop is returned completely to baseline 0. This is osoji, the practice of ritual cleaning and spatial resetting, treated not as an annoying weekend chore, but as an essential, daily act of mental closure. In traditional crafts and daily life, leaving a workspace or a home in disorder at the end of a cycle is viewed as an act of disrespect toward the space and a direct burden placed on your future self. When you leave an environment cluttered at night, your brain processes that disorder as an unfinished loop. Waking up or returning to an unreset space immediately triggers decision fatigue and cognitive stress before your day even begins. Most people clean reactively, waiting until surfaces are overflowing, sink basins are piled high with dishes, and clutter becomes unbearable, turning maintenance into an exhausting, hours-long ordeal. Establish a mandatory 5-minute return to zero protocol at the end of every work session and every evening. Clear your desk, wash the dishes, wipe down the counters, and return every item to its designated home. Never leave a room in chaos for your future self to fix. Tomorrow's mental calm is built by the simple 5-minute reset you perform tonight. Boundary design. At the front entrance of every Japanese home sits a genkan, a small entryway recessed a few inches below the main floor level of the house. A woman returns home from work carrying a heavy shoulder bag, a coat, and an umbrella. She steps into the genkan, slips off her street shoes, and leaves them neatly turned toward the door. She steps up onto the raised wooden floor of the living area, wearing soft indoor slippers. In one fluid, seamless motion, her coat goes onto a hook right beside the step. Her keys sit in a small ceramic dish, and her bag rests in a basket designated specifically for her work items. Street dirt, outside chaos, and loose items are stopped dead at the threshold. This is boundary design, using physical architecture and entry zones to establish a clear transit point between the chaotic outside world and the calm internal sanctuary of the home. The genkan acts as both a physical barrier against dirt and a psychological threshold that forces a deliberate pause, signaling to the body that it has transitioned from public effort to private rest. Without explicit physical thresholds, the psychological stress, physical debris, and random objects collected during the day bleed directly into living and sleeping areas, disrupting the psychological safety of the home. In many modern houses, the front door opens directly into a kitchen or living room. Coats are thrown over dining chairs, mail accumulates on kitchen islands, and shoes scatter across walkways, spreading disorder into the heart of the home. Create a strict entry boundary near your front door, regardless of how small your entrance is. Designate immediate, frictionless homes for keys, bags, coats, and shoes right at the threshold. Establish a firm rule. Outside clutter never crosses into your relaxation space. Protect the calm of your home by stopping physical and mental noise right at the front door. When we step back and observe these systems working together, it becomes clear that living comfortably with less has very little to do with modern trends of extreme minimalism or trendy aesthetic design. It is a profound psychological response to the noise and complexity of the modern world. We live in an era that constantly equates your personal worth with what you accumulate, encouraging you to buy more, store more, and manage more, until your living spaces feel less like sanctuaries and more like storage facilities for your possessions. We spend our precious weekends organizing items we don't use, working longer hours to buy larger spaces to house those items, and feeling perpetually exhausted in the very places meant to give us rest. But living comfortably with less offers a quiet way out of this cycle. It reminds us that physical space is directly tied to mental freedom. When you reduce the physical noise in your environment, you do not shrink your life, you expand it. You reclaim your time, your focus, and your capacity to be fully present in the space you inhabit. Returning to System 1, think back to that quiet morning in Kichijoji, the small 28 square meter apartment illuminated by morning light, the cotton futon folded smoothly into the wall closet, the simple wooden tray resting on the tatami mat. That small room did not feel restrictive or impoverished. It felt spacious, elegant, and deeply peaceful because every object within it had a purpose, a home, and a fluid rhythm. When you look around your own living space today, you may notice areas where physical possessions have slowly accumulated, shelves packed tight, counters covered in daily mail, drawers filled with items kept out of hypothetical fear, and rooms crammed with single-use furniture. It is easy to feel overwhelmed by the volume and assume you need more storage, more organizational bins, or a larger home altogether. But the lesson hidden within these quiet systems is far simpler and much more liberating. You do not need more room to store your clutter. You need fewer items competing for your life. By adopting spatial flexibility, leaving intentional empty space on your shelves, treating your possessions as temporary guests, elevating the quality of what you keep, resetting your rooms to 0 every evening, and protecting the boundary of your front door, you begin to build an environment that serves your mind rather than draining your energy. Start with a single surface today. Clear a desk, a nightstand, or a kitchen counter entirely. Leave a generous margin of empty space. Experience how it feels to let your eyes rest on a surface that demands nothing from you. Because in the end, a comfortable and peaceful life is not created by filling your world with abundance. It is created by having the wisdom to leave room to breathe.